Alrighty, I have found my CLR calcium lime rust. It should dissolve those deposits just nicely. And I put a little in a cap. Just be careful. Try not to get any on your skin or fling any in your eyes. Remember, the water shut off, so you don't want to get this in your eyes and you're like, I need to wash my eyes out. And you go to turn the faucet on and nothing comes out, so you end up sticking your head in the toilet. Okay. So just go in there. You wiggle it around. I see it dissolving already. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the video. I'll probably do this for another 5 minutes. I'm pretty picky, so I want to make sure there's no deposits in there at all. Yeah, I just want to show you how good this CLR stuff works. Look at this huge chunk of gunk. I don't even know what this is, but it's and it came from somewhere in there, because as soon as I started using the CLR, it came right out. So this stuff really works. That's why it's really important to get all these deposits out before you continue with the installation. Okay, so looks like all the deposits are out that I want out. And what I like to do is try to dilute the CLR with some water that's still coming out. Because I don't know how damaging CLR is going to be on rubber. So just try to dilute it the best you can. And if you don't have any water sitting around, then just take a bottle of Windex and dilute it. You know, Windex is not water, but it's still not as strong as CLR. So it'll help dilute it, and then try to get all that stuff out of there. Best case scenario is if you have a little spray water bottle. You can clean that out, because you don't want to put it back together with all those bubbles. So I'm gonna find me some water, which is difficult because the water's shut off, but I'm sure I can find some somewhere. Alright, I found me a little cup of water, but if you have bottled water, that'll work too. I just kind of splashed it in there. And remember, what you want to do is get rid of that CLR that you put in there. It's pretty strong solvent. Might be bad for the rubber that's in there. Okay, now we're ready to assemble. In the bag, they give you a bunch of crap that you don't need. Of course it depends which model faucet you have, but out of all this crap here, this is all I'm going to use. That's it. Okay, the next step is to pop this guy in. Goes in those two holes. It is symmetrical, like I said earlier. Doesn't matter whether it goes this way or that way. Now it's ready to pop these things in. And remember, the spring, the smaller part, goes on the bottom. You just insert it like that. What you're going to do is, you might need your tweezers for this. Just, pop these like so. Spring first into those two holes. Okay, those popped in just nicely. Your next step is to pop the cartridge in. Okay, line up the old and the new cartridge. Make sure the hot side is up like this. Also notice from the factory this was turned a little to the right. Just make sure you hold the base. Hold the base with one hand, and with the other hand turn the top. Make sure it's all the way to the left. See, it won't turn anymore, because if it's partially open like that, it's not going to be good. So make sure you hold the base. I'm doing this with one hand, but you should do it with two hands, because I'm holding the phone with the other hand. Okay, so turn the top. There, it won't turn anymore. And now this should just pop in real nicely. That's our next step. Okay, the cartridge is popped in. Here's how it's situated. Once again, it says hot side, that's up. And make sure you give it a good push so it goes past the O-ring. That looks good. Next step is to put this brass ring back on, but I did notice some calcium deposits in here. So I'm going to get my CLR out and get rid of those calcium deposits. And we'll go to the next step. Right now the ring has been cleaned. It's okay to go ahead and put it on now. What's really important is do not over tighten it. Then also some people like to put Teflon tape around the threads. You really don't need that because there's an O-ring beneath this white piece of plastic, and the water is not supposed to go past that anyways. So Teflon tape is not necessary. And it's hand tightened right now. Now, before I put everything else back on, you need to check for leaks. So I'm just going to tighten it. It's tightened by hand, and I'll tighten it a little more with the pipe wrench, just a little. And then I'll turn the water back on and check for leaks. And once you tighten it where it's not leaking, tighten it just a little more past that point, but don't tighten it any more than that. Alright, water is on, and there are no leaks. And I knew there would be no leaks because I'm a professional. Actually, I'm not a professional, I just like to do my own things. This would be, probably pay someone at least $100 in labor to do this kind of work. Okay, so once again, reach all the way in back. It's bone dry, no leaks whatsoever. So it's time to put the stuff back on. Put all that back on, got one more screw to go. Of course, make sure the delta is on top. I put the handle on. Make sure, remember how important it is that the teeth match up, just like you see there. Then take this plastic thing. I'm sure there's names for these parts, but I don't care. Alright, so exact position doesn't matter that much. Just try to catch as many of these teeth as you can up here and up there. It's pretty proportional. I popped in this temperature gauge deal. Remember, it only goes in one way, and there's a stop right there. And see the hole on the back? Only fits over one way, and that way you make sure this arrow lines up with the handle. See how that's nice, going in all one direction. And of course, put the screw back in. Do not over tighten it. Final step is to pop on this decorative cap, like so. And we are done. So now there's just a final test to make sure that hot is hot and cold is cold. I'll go ahead and turn it on so you can enjoy the glory with me. Seems to work. There's no leaks. And I think we'll call it a wrap.